How's it going, everyone? It's Artifact. Hope your week is progressing swimmingly. We're going to be making a really quick drone sound today, and I'm going to explain why we use drones, how easy they are to create, and stuff. Let's get straight into the patch. This is the Vital Creeper drone, which I've just knocked up this morning, and we just listened to it on its own first. And it's very simple. We can analyze this intro of our song without the drone. And you can see we have a kind of pad, we have some sort of kicks and some kind of lead effects sounds, but having a drone can give us this kind of low-end warmth to an intro. And although we might want to save a lot of impact of like real sub and bass for the drop, you know, sometimes having in a little bit of a drone like to fill up some of these low frequencies in the intro provides a sort of bed for all the other sounds to sit on top of. So we can use a little bit of bass in our drone, but it doesn't necessarily have to be loud, and we can sort of reverb it and make it a bit crazy affected. So let's listen to it with the drone. So I kind of have this extra kind of bass element, which also has some sort of high end. It's basically a combination of, like some sine waves for like the bass, and then a few extra textures on top just to make it a little bit more interesting. And then running it through a bunch of effects, like primarily like a lot of chorus and reverb and some phasing, because we want to like make it a bit sort of washy and put it into the background a bit, because it's like something that other sounds will sit on top of. So just start with a sine wave, take the phase randomization off, and then we'll add in a sample already so we can introduce some sort of high-end noise, get a bit textural with it. With a drone, we don't really need to go super melodic. It's more important that we just have that low kind of rumble and then maybe a bit of sort of high end on top, just to like fill out a little bit more of the high frequencies. Most important thing is that kind of low end rumble, and we can get that from just a sine wave. Just to make it a bit more interesting, I'm ring modulating in this sample. I guess the sounds of an ocean, which is beautiful. Using ring modulation to like mix those two sounds together. And then the second oscillator here is just an octave up of the same sine wave, and we can kind of turn this one down a little bit, just to fill out a little bit more of those low frequencies. The same thing I would do with making a sub bass, but just on a smaller volume scale. Oscillator 3, we just have like a saw wave, and it's just kind of coming in a bit slowly, just to create like a bit of an evolving tension in the drone. And all of these are just mapped to like a slow LFO ramping up shape, which, as you can see, is quite straightforward, and everything is being mapped to that. How we're really gonna make it now into a drone is we're gonna have to use like a lot of effects, like I said. So we'll go straight for chorus first, put on the freeze mode, and then we've got control over the individual voices, and then we can map these two delays to the LFO, so it kind of moves up slowly over time. And if I put on some compression, you heard the sound before with high end starts to really come out, and that's too much really, because the drone should be like kind of soft and in the background. I've just put an LFO on the high end of the compressor here, so that, you know, at the beginning it's up, and then as the sound goes on, we like take out the high end, so we don't have that like really overly distorted high sound coming through. Starting to sound quite interesting. Of course, I'll use a bit of distortion because like it's saturating and it's bringing everything together, and we kind of just squeeze out the best from the sound. And then we'll go onto a filter, and just to like make the sound a little bit more interesting and creative, I chose to use a formant filter, which has like a kind of vocal effect. And if we just take a listen to it here, you know, it's these sort of resonant peaks which are like emulating, you know, like vowel sounds from the human mouth. If we just kind of mix it in, so at the beginning it's kind of off, so we have that like main sort of subby bass part of the drone, and then as it goes on, we kind of mix in a bit of this like vocal effect. A little bit of phasing, like we're just sort of washing out the sound and making it a bit less impactful, so it's more of a background sound. Finally, to even further, you know, build upon that philosophy of, you know, it's a background drone sound that everything sits on top of, we can go ahead and like reverb it quite a lot to push it like even further to the back of the mix. So we just, you know, use a fair bit of mix and a nice big long reverb. It's an intro sound and we're trying to fill out the frequencies and create a big soundscape. So I'm not sort of worried about, you know, overusing reverb because, you know, if I was to do this on the drop, you know, maybe I would be like a bit more conscious of how much space I'm going to save by, you know, not using a reverb. But in like an intro sense, I'm not afraid to just put like big reverbs on things just to like get that vibe going and fill out those frequencies in the spectrum. Pretty happy with that, and it's the Creeper drone. But yeah, that's basically a drone wrapped up in a few minutes and how easy it is to create one and why they can be quite useful. I hope you found this tip helpful. If you know anyone that wants to take music production lessons, you can recommend them to me. That'd be really appreciated. You can also check out my website and my Patreon if you want exclusive tutorials and presets, samples, feedback on your tracks and all that good stuff. Link for my website is down below. So have a wicked day, guys, and I'll see you soon.